Hello and welcome to Sleepy Night Stories, the podcast that cradles you into a gentle world of dreams. It brings me great joy to share this time with you. Tonight, we will journey into a story filled with comforting moments. But first, let's take a little time to unwind and release the day's cares. I invite you to find your perfect cozy spot. Snuggle under your blankets or nestle into your favorite chair. As you settle in, let's take a deep, calming breath together. Inhale slowly through your nose and exhale softly through your mouth. Allow each breath to bring you deeper into relaxation. Feel the rise and fall of your chest, and let each gentle exhale wash away any tension you may be holding. Now, as you continue to breathe in and out at your own pace, imagine a peaceful scene. Picture a serene meadow at twilight, soft grasses swaying gently in the mild evening breeze. The sky above is a canvas of soft indigo hues, sprinkled with twinkling stars that begin to wink awake. With each breath, take in the fresh, dewy scent of the grass mixed with the sweetness of blooming flowers nearby. Notice how the air is cool and refreshing against your skin, inviting you to let go just a bit more. Let yourself be enveloped by this peaceful atmosphere. With every breath, feel your body relax a little more, sinking into comfort. Know that in this moment, there is nothing to worry about. You have given yourself this time to unwind, and all you need to do is let go. As we begin our story tonight, keep this sense of calm with you. You are safe, you are relaxed, and you are ready to embrace sweet dreams. In a charming little village, where cobblestone paths wound their way between pastel-colored cottages, lived a woman named Elara. Her home was a cozy haven, adorned with blooming window boxes, a cascade of lavender and gentle daisies that danced to the whispers of the evening breeze. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows that kissed the earth, Elara floated through her home, savoring each quiet moment as twilight settled around her. Stepping into the kitchen, the warmth of the oven still lingered in the air, a reminder of the golden bread she had baked earlier in the day. Its comforting aroma wrapped around her like a soft blanket. Elara moved gracefully, her fingers tracing the wooden countertop as she reached for her favorite teapot, a delicate ceramic piece painted with intricate flowers. With a gentle clink, she placed it on the stove and filled it with fresh water. As she waited for the kettle to sing, the gentle murmur of the wind outside filled the air, brushing against the window panes. Elara stood by the window, gazing at the world fading into twilight. The sky transformed from a warm orange to shades of deep blue, and fireflies began their dance, twinkling like distant lanterns. With a smile, she took in the sight of the meadow stretching out beyond her garden, where the tall grasses swayed gently, drawing her attention like a lullaby. With the kettle's whistle rising to a perfect pitch, she turned and poured the steaming water over her favorite herbal tea blend, a calming symphony of chamomile and mint. The fragrant steam curled upward, filling the air with warmth as she inhaled deeply, letting the soothing scent envelop her senses like a soft breeze. few delicate stirs, she infused the tea leaves, giving them the time they needed to release their soothing essence. Elara moved to her plush armchair nestled in the corner of the living room. The chair beckoned her with its inviting cushions, welcoming her into a cocoon of comfort. She settled in, cradling the warm teacup between her hands, feeling the porcelain smooth against her skin. Taking a sip, the tea washed over her, wrapping her in a gentle warmth that seeped deep into her being, melting away the last remnants of the day. As she sipped her tea, her gaze narrowed in upon a small quilt draped across the back of the chair. Each patch told a story, gorgeous prints of blossoms, stripes kissed by the colors of sunset, and gentle polka dots that whispered of playfulness. Reflecting on the moments that inspired the quilt, she felt a sense of gratitude bloom in her heart. Each thread wove a tapestry of love, warmth, and cherished memories. After finishing her cup, she set the teacup gently back onto the table and turned her attention to the small bookshelf that lined the wall. Each book was a world unto itself, filled with adventures waiting to be explored. She ran her fingers along the spines, feeling the textured bindings and the promise of words waiting to be unfurled. Choosing a beloved book with a cover like soft leather, she settled back into her chair, allowing its embrace to cradle her. In soft whispers, the story unfolded before her, flowing like a gentle stream. The words mingled with the sounds of nature outside, the crickets serenading the approaching night, the rustle of leaves, and the warm breeze weaving through the open window. Elara allowed her mind to drift with the prose, feeling as if she were part of the narrative, wrapped in another world entirely. As the stars blinked into full brightness above, Elara's attention gently shifted to her feline companion, Luna, who had been cozily curled up on a sun-warmed spot by the window. With an effortless grace, her soft, silvery fur glowed under the moonbeams that crept into the room. The cat stretched, her body arching elegantly, before leaping onto Elara's lap, purring a soft symphony that filled the air with comforting vibrations. With her fingers, Elara traced the contours of Luna's back, feeling the warmth radiating from her little body, a soothing rhythm that resonated deep within her soul. Each gentle stroke was met with a soft purr, harmonizing with the tranquil ambience of the evening. In this sacred moment, time paused, and the world outside faded away, leaving just the two of them, a woman and her cherished companion, relishing the stillness of the night. After a while, Elara felt a longing for the garden that had bloomed under her care. Rising from her chair with Luna gracefully following, she stepped outside, her feet sinking into the soft, cool grass. A blanket of stars now stretched majestically across the sky, as if painted by a master artist, shimmering like diamonds scattered across a vast, velvet canvas. She padded softly along the winding path of her garden, the sweet scent of night-blooming jasmine wrapping around her like a whisper. The moonlight illuminated the petals of her flowers, making them glow as they swayed gently in the night breeze. A silent affair between nature and the stars above. Elara knelt down to feel the cool earth beneath her fingers, tending to the blossoms that thrived under her care. Each plant, a treasure of life, seemed to dance with joy at her touch. With tender care, she tucked a few wayward leaves here and there, whispering gratitude for the beauty they brought to her little cottage. Embracing the serenity of the night, the soft hum of the night air cradled her thoughts, pulling her deeper into a tranquil haven where everything felt profoundly right. As she stood to return to her cozy home, the quiet joy of the evening settled upon her heart like a warm embrace. The stars above twinkled more brightly than ever, as if beckoning her to cradle the peacefulness of this moment. Luna wound around her legs, a gentle reminder of the comfort of companionship. Re-entering her sanctuary, Elara felt at peace, nestling back into her chair, the quilt now draped across her lap. She closed her eyes for a moment, allowing the gentle cooing of distant owls and the soft rustle of the wind to soothe her into a blissful state of tranquility. With the gentle hum of her home around her, she felt the world outside drift away. So, as the night deepens and dreams patiently wait to unfurl, Elara embraces the stillness, ready to welcome whatever flowed into her heart next, knowing that here, in her sacred space, she was cradled in the sweetest of dreams. The welcoming embrace of the world whispered softly to her, as she allowed herself to drift ever closer to the shores of slumber. As Elara settled into the comforting embrace of the evening, her mind began to wander gently through the tapestry of her day, savoring the small, sweet moments that wove together to form the fabric of her life. Each reflection was a soft note in a lullaby, soothing her spirit and inviting her deeper into the warmth of relaxation. She smiled as she recalled the morning light filtering through her kitchen window, bathing the room in a golden glow. That gentle awakening felt as if the sun had brushed its fingers across her cheeks, drawing her into a new day filled with promise. The quiet rituals of that morning, the way she made her coffee, relishing the aromatic dance of roasted beans, and the soft sound it made as it dripped into her favorite cup, played in her mind like a cherished melody. With the warmth of her tea still lingering on her lips, Elara thought of the garden she had tended to earlier. The feeling of the cool, damp earth on her fingertips inspired a sense of connection. She welcomed the delicate life she nourished beneath the surface. There had been joy in seeing the first buds peeking through the soil, fragile yet full of hope. She remembered how she had bent low to inspect them, marveling at their resilience and beauty, and it filled her heart with gratitude for the simplicity of nature's gifts. Elara's thoughts drifted to the baker she often visited in the village, a warm soul named Agnes, who never failed to greet her with a bright smile and a kind word. Elara had stopped in that very morning, lured by the scent of fresh pastries wafting through the door. They exchanged stories over a shared laugh, and Elara felt a warmth bloom inside her, a reminder of the bonds that connect people in life's sweet little moments. As she mulled over these memories, she could hear the soft rustle of leaves outside her window, the gentle whispers of a breeze weaving through her garden. The sound caressed her ears like a lullaby, stirring a deep sense of calm within her. She took a steady breath, feeling the cool air fill her lungs. Each exhale released a little more of her day's cares, allowing peace to settle like a gentle blanket around her. Nestled in the quiet of her home, Elara felt thankful for the simple pleasures: a cup of tea, a hug from Luna, the laughter shared with Agnes. Each memory sparkled like stardust in the night sky, reminding her of the beauty woven into her day. She recalled the sensation of sunlight warming her face as she basked on her porch, the laughter of children at play drifting across the street, and the sweet taste of freshly baked bread she had enjoyed as it cooled on the counter. Elara turned her thoughts to the gratitude she felt for her cozy cottage itself, a treasure trove of warmth and light. The way it cocooned her during storms, the comforting creaks of the floor as she wandered about, these were not simply features, but cherished embrace. She caught herself smiling, reflecting on how the walls had cradled her laughter, her tears, and everything in between. It had become a nurturing space, a true home that held every piece of her journey. She felt a flutter in her heart as she remembered the gentle dialogue she had shared with nature throughout the day. Each moment spent in the garden seemed to resonate deeply within her spirit, a sacred communion that reminded her of the cycles of life: planting, nurturing, blooming, and resting. Elara closed her eyes for a moment, envisioning the harmony in this balance, the flight of birds returning to their nests, and the gentle sway of the trees offering shelter to those in need. As she took another sip of her tea, the warmth flowed through her, mingling with the thoughts of her today, of all the kindness extended by others and the simple joys she had experienced. She felt a serene contentment wash over her, a deep knowing that every small moment, no matter how trivial it may have seemed, was a thread tying her life together in a vibrant tapestry of happiness. Casting her gaze towards the flickering candlelight on the table, she was gracious for each flame that danced softly, casting a warm glow across her space. It was as though every flicker mirrored her own heart, lighting up in gratitude and appreciation for the beauty that surrounded her. Every shadow that played upon the walls was a reminder of the cherished memories of yesterday and the quiet promise of tomorrow. With her thoughts drifting like dandelion seeds on a gentle breeze, Elara eased herself back into the comforting embrace of the armchair. She let the quilt fall warmly over her shoulders, feeling the fabric meld to her form, a reminder of the love sewn into each patch. Allowing her eyelids to grow heavy, she savored the recollection of a day steeped in gratitude, a tapestry composed of soft morning light, gentle laughter, and comfortable routines that held her close and wrapped her in affection. As the night deepened gently around her, with only the soft murmurs of nature echoing in the background, Elara permitted herself to drift into a peaceful reverie. She felt nestled within her thoughts, each one whispering a soft mantra of thankfulness that resonated within her being. In this sacred calm, as dreams began to beckon softly at the the edges of her consciousness. Elara felt ready to let go of the day's reflections, to release them into the night like leaves floating down a stream. Each small joy she treasured twinkled in her memory, glowing gently like stars in the vast, reassuring sky, guiding her toward the serene shores of sleep. And so, as the world wore its cloak of tranquility, Elara found comfort in the golden memories of her day, a lullaby that cradled her into a peaceful slumber, embracing her with the knowing that tomorrow held new whispers of gratitude waiting to unfold. She surrendered herself to the quiet magic of the evening, inviting peaceful dreams to dance their way comfortably into her heart. As Elara settled deeper into her armchair, her mind enveloped in a gentle mist of tranquility, she began to reflect on the world outside her window, where the rhythm of nature pulsated like a heartbeat with each passing breath. She invited the evening's serenade, the soft rustle of leaves, and the distant calls of night creatures into her spirit. They echoed the beautiful truth of existence. Life ebbs and flows, moves in cycles, just as the seasons do, each one offering its unique cadence and charm. She gazed out at the garden, now bathed in the silvery glow of the moon. The quiet luminescence revealed a landscape transformed. Shadows stretched and twinkled like stars fallen to the earth. Elara imagined the flowers resting, their blooms closing delicately against the evening chill, drawing strength from the stillness, preparing for a fresh burst of color with the dawn. This cyclical dance of life resonated deeply within her, a reminder that every moment, like every season, belongs to the greater tapestry of being. In her heart, she acknowledged the grace of resilience, which threaded its way through the delicate lives around her, the flowers, her beloved Luna, the towering trees that weathered storms. She marveled at how nature endured, teaching her that even in the quietest moments, strength resides in stillness. Each seed planted, each leaf unfurled, spoke of patience and unwavering hope, a testament to the inherent wisdom found in caring for oneself and one's surroundings. The crickets outside spoke a soft lullaby, their chirping a gentle metronome to the symphony of night. Elara paralleled their song with her heartbeat, feeling an unspoken connection to this harmonious existence. She sighed, allowing her shoulders to sink lower, releasing all that she could from her day, the small worries, the fleeting thoughts, as she surrendered completely to the embrace of the evening, there in the amber glow of her candle and the soft sighs of the world around her. Elara became acutely aware of the beauty of simply being. The evening air, cool and crisp, filled her lungs with a refreshing sense of aliveness. She could almost taste the sweetness of the night, the fragrant jasmine floating in the breeze, mingling with the earthy scent of the damp soil in her garden. It felt as if nature itself wrapped her in a gentle hug, a promise of continuity and warmth, reminding her that every ending blossomed into a new beginning. Elara's thoughts turned to the elder trees in the forest nearby, majestic and wise, their branches bowing gracefully with the weight of the years. Each ring inside their trunks told a story of seasons long past, of storms weathered and sunshine cherished, just as they stood tall through the tumult of life. She too was reminded of her own journey, a unique spiral of ups and downs, of growth through challenges that had shaped her. She closed her eyes for a moment, allowing the sensations of the twilight to permeate her being. The call of a distant owl resonated deeply, a reminder that night held its own rhythm, one of reflection, rest, and renewal. As she exhaled softly, she imagined her thoughts drifting skyward, released like fireflies capturing the magic of the moment, illuminating the darkness with tiny bursts of light. Time slipped delicately onward as Elara revered the simple joys that illuminated her life. She could feel the pulse of the earth beneath her chair, the gentle thrum of life continuing on as the world turned seamlessly from day to night. In this enchanted hour, she recognized the profound connection she shared with nature, a bond forged through the beauty of shared experiences and the unyielding rhythms of the universe. Each moment of stillness was an invitation to dive deeper into gratitude. The day, filled with laughter, tenderness, and small victories, wrapped around her like a soft shawl, bringing warmth to her heart. It was in these golden moments that she found solace, comfort, and inspiration for the days to come, anchoring her amidst the ever-changing tides of life. Elara began to envision the new dawn, the promise it held of sunlit gardens, chirping birds, and laughter echoing in the village streets. Thoughts of the changing seasons sparked delight. She welcomed the cycle of renewal with open arms, knowing that every spring forged the way for blooming possibilities. The anticipation of fresh beginnings filled her with hope, woven seamlessly into the fabric of the night. She nestled deeper under her quilt, allowing herself to float within the gentle currents of thought. Each breath in was saturated with love and gratitude, while each breath out released anything that no longer served her. Elara felt lighter with each exhale, knowing that like the night leading to dawn, every ending came with the promise of renewal. In the warm embrace of her chair, cradled by the quilt and wrapped in the soft sounds of nature, Elara began to drift further into a soothing reverie. She cherished the serenade of the wind outside, the fluttering of leaves as they whispered secrets to one another, and the twinkling stars that watched over her like benevolent guardians. They reminded her that she was never alone. Every thread of her existence was intricately woven into the fabric of the cosmos. As the moon reached its zenith, casting a serene glow across her evening, Elara surrendered to the tranquil lull of the night. She knew that the stories of this day would settle within her like seeds, waiting for the perfect moment to germinate, just like the flowers waiting for the light to break through the darkened soil. With a soft sigh, she embraced the twilight, inviting the comfort of sleep to wrap around her. The world outside continued its gentle dance, wrapped in the quiet whisper of harmony, while Elara floated blissfully into dreams. Tomorrow would come, filled with promises anew. But for now, she savored this sweet surrender, a soft, letting go into the unfolding wonders of the night. In the arms of serenity, she welcomed the dreams, allowing them to cradle her gently into peaceful slumber. As Elara nestled deeper into her armchair, she felt the quilt embrace her like a warm hug, its softness enveloping her completely. The gentle weight draped across her shoulders was a reminder of the simple comforts that life offered, the kind of warmth that wrapped around her body and settled into her bones, coaxing her closer to a world of calm. The soothing evening light poured through the window, painting soft shadows on the walls. She listened to the night sounds outside, where crickets serenaded the twilight with their rhythmic chirping, adding a soft chorus to the serene atmosphere of the moment. Each note played delicately in her heart, pulling her deeper into relaxation as the world around her eased into stillness. Elara took a moment to breathe in the scent of the herbs she had hung to dry in the kitchen: sweet basil, thyme, and rosemary, a reminder of the meals she had crafted with love. With each inhale, the fresh, earthy fragrance filled her senses, wrapping around her like a soothing balm. As she exhaled slowly, she released the remnants of her day, allowing them to melt away like the lost rays of sun fading on the horizon. With Luna curled up beside her, nuzzled against her thigh, she felt an overwhelming sense of safety enveloping her like the soft quilt that draped her. The gentle rise and fall of Luna's purring resonated through the room, the sound a sweet symphony that harmonized perfectly with the crooning of the night. The kitty's warmth seeped into Elara's skin, grounding her in this sacred space where all felt right and tranquil. Elara closed her eyes, envisioning the peaceful meadow she had visited in her thoughts earlier, where blades of grass swayed in time with the evening breeze. She imagined the gentle caress of the breeze across her cheeks, tender and inviting, just like the love that surrounded her. In her mind's eye, she followed the path of a silver moonbeam dancing through the grass, leading her to a place of utter stillness. Here in her quiet home, beneath the quilt and with her feline companion, she allowed herself to melt deeper into her chair, surrendering to the sweet pull of slumber that beckoned her. The shadows around her flickered gently, as if dancing to the timeless lullabies sung by the universe. And with every sigh, she felt her body sink lower into the embrace of her cozy haven. The world outside was hushed now, the whispers of the evening fading into gentle stillness. Elara took another calming breath, feeling her muscles soften and release under the quilt's touch. She felt heavy yet buoyant, as though she were floating upon a delicate cloud, slowly drifting away on the currents of dreams. Softly, she traced the patterns in the quilt with her fingertips, allowing the warm fabric to remind her of the love and care sewn into every patch. Each stitch represented moments of joy, laughter, and warmth, a tapestry of life interwoven with the essence of all she cherished. Outside, the stars continued their quiet song, and the moon illuminated the garden where she had tended to her plants, nurturing each living thing with love. Elara, cradled in the cocoon of her chair, felt a sense of profound connection to everything around her, knowing that life's gentle rhythms flowed in waves of light and shadow. As her thoughts drifted, her mind began to quiet like the world outside, the gentle cadence of nature lulling her further into peace. In this moment, there was no rush, no worries tugging at her heart. Instead, there was a beautiful, expansive stillness where the universe cradled her, offering promises of otherworldly adventures waiting just beyond the veil of sleep. With a final soft breath, Elara released her thoughts and let them disperse into the gentle night air. She could feel the sweet embrace of sleep waiting for her, inviting her on a soft journey through realms of dreams and whispers. The edges of her world blurred, and she let go, surrendering to the tranquil magic that enveloped her. Good night, dear listener. As you hear the soft sounds of the night cradling you, surrender to the love and warmth surrounding you. Know that you are safe, wrapped in the embrace of tranquil dreams, just waiting to welcome you. Close your eyes gently. Let your breathing become soft and steady, and allow yourself to drift further into a peaceful slumber where sweet rest awaits you. Sleep well, and may your dreams be filled with light.